where an athlete is contacting behind, the foot and the hip are moving at different speeds, or they should be moving at different speeds. Like the foot needs to be moving faster than the hips to keep accelerating. If the foot is moving excessively past the hip and the ground contact is insufficient, that's where we start to get this over rotation of the body and people start falling out of position. Think about someone like diving for the line, right? They start to lean, the foot isn't ever underneath the hip at that point. They start kind of making this cyclical action behind them. The foot being underneath the hip just gives us neutrality. It gives us a neutral position and allows us to just keep moving forward. All right, so we know that's the objective. I need to get my foot underneath my hip so I can get off the ground and keep my body as safe as possible. Even with the foot being underneath the hip, you still need to address an element of acceleration of the leg. It is primarily the job of your foot, especially from the knee to the ankle. So this lower part of your leg is primarily this part of your body that's responsible for getting your foot underneath. If the lower leg is not doing its job, the ground contact time will always be excessive. There's an element or something called negative foot speed by Dr. Ken Clark. If you look him up on Instagram, he posts a lot of great stuff. Essentially, negative foot speed talks about how quickly the foot can get underneath in relation to the hip speed. So if my hip is moving at this distance or this speed, let's say 5 miles per hour, I don't know, to accelerate, my foot speed, my lower leg needs to move underneath the hip at least 5.1 miles per hour, meters a second, whatever the metric is. It has to always exceed the speed of the hip. That's how you're going to get this negative foot speed, and that's how you're going to be accelerating. When you're any slower than the velocity of the hip, that's when you're going to find your braking actions as you're going to be slowing down. And if you're obviously at the same speed, then you'll be maintaining, right? So as I said, number one, that ground contact time should be addressed. And you can do things other than getting the foot underneath to work this ground contact time. Fast feet drills, plyometric properties and characteristics. You can do a lot of things that will help you create shorter ground contact times, because if you can't get the foot on and off the ground and you can't keep up, right? You're running at these excessive speeds. Your ability to keep up with your body, your feet being able to keep up with the rest of your body is what's going to ultimately make you faster or not. I hope that makes sense. So anything that's teaching your body or teaching your foot to get on and off the ground is going to be very important that you train. Things that we've done recently. So as those of you that don't know, I jumped in college. I was a high, long, and triple jumper, triple jump mainly. And everything was plyometrics and sprinting and bounding, that kind of thing. So everything was about producing high force output in a very dynamic way. So one thing we've done recently that I'd like to share with you guys, we did running hurdle hops. So like you're running momentum into the hurdle hop. So the athlete has momentum behind them, something that they can carry. There's obviously enough space in between the hurdles that the athlete can jump over, but you're just prioritizing speed and speed maintenance, especially over the duration of the hurdles that you have in front of you. So again, ground contact time, just to review, ground contact time is related to the hip position and the foot position, foot being underneath the hip, and the ability to get the foot on and off the ground.